a background as a chartered accountant. In 2020, he was awarded Club Coach of the Year, and in 2020-2021, as president of MySpeak Toastmaster, he led his club with 2 active members to the ranked 4th globally, with 115 education awards and 53 active members by year end. So definitely, he knows what it takes for a club to flourish and its members to succeed. And that's why he's currently Toastmasters International District 86 Club Co-Director. And he's here today to share how all club members can use the communication skills they gain in Toastmasters to connect and make an impact. Brahm, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. My talk is all about connect. See, every Toastmasters club, any organization, any family, any place where people gather together can be very successful. And the secret source of that success is to connect one-on-one, to connect individually. Now we say at Toastmasters, we do communicate, so we must be connecting. Well, George Bernard Shaw, the famous playwright from the 1800s, from 1858 to 1950, he said the biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. You can read that again. The biggest problem in the communication is that it has taken place. See, words can flow back and forth, but are we really connecting? Sure, words are back and forth, so we say we are communicating, but does it take place? Does communication really take place? Is the reason why I'm here today. And it's the reason why I've understood how Toastmasters and clubs can be very successful. And let me tell you how. I'll give you the psychology of it. That's what I'm going to address, rather than what I did in my club and so on. Because it's really a very simple formula, what you can do at the club level. But if you need and ask me questions at the end, we can even talk about those things as well. But here is the wall between communication and connection. See, we want to communicate, sure, like I've said, and George Bernard Shaw said that did it really take place? There's this wall between communication and connection. A connection is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, because when we begin to connect is when we can collaborate together. Now, a Toastmasters Club is a place where we can collaborate together. Would you agree? It is a collaborative teamwork that makes a Toastmasters Club very successful. And when we begin to collaborate, then we can create an environment in the Toastmasters Club where people can come and learn how to sort of stand up and speak with confidence and conviction and have that credibility. And also create projects like at level 4 and level 5 in pathways. There's some HPL projects and some wonderful projects, and you cannot do them all by yourself. You need a team, and hopefully the team will come from your Toastmasters Club. And every person who's joined Toastmasters must do those level 4 and level 5 projects, because that's what leadership is. And you need this thing here to connect and collaborate. And when you do that, what happens is that you begin to form a community of Toastmasters within your group, a strong community of people where, if I may move so that you can see, you're creating what your objective is in a Toastmasters Club is to create a high performance team, a team that is performing at the best, to the highest level. And then as they are learning to sort of increase the best that they have been yesterday, right? So today's best would be better than yesterday's best. So the best is always increasing. And that's a high performing team. And that is what Toastmasters is supposed to be, because the more you stand up, the more you speak, the more you learn about leadership. Of course, that's the objective, is to become a high performing individual. Now, I know that we never thought of that in Toastmasters, did we? We were never told those sort of things, but those are the sort of things that you need to think about in a Toastmasters club. How to connect, how to collaborate, how to create projects, and how to create a wonderful Toastmasters club where you have more than 20 members. Why 20? Well, we all know that the charter strength of a club is 20 members, and you ought to have more than 20 members so that you can have a full agenda all the time with 2 or 3 speakers, sometimes even 4 speakers, depending on how long your meeting is supposed to be. And it all comes from this wonderful thing here. Now, having said that, and having made a case that, okay, we are communicating, but we are not really communicating because words can flow back and forth, and we need to connect, and why we need to connect. So then let's look at, are you really communicating to connect? Are you really making that connection with your members? Are you really saying and doing things that both are verbal and non-verbal cues that say that, okay, I'm here for you, and I see you, and I will do something to serve you so that you can rise to the next level. That is the basis of success in any organization, whether you're in an organization that is where you are employed and you're paid for what you do, or in Toastmasters where you pay to learn something. And in both cases, it is the same thing. Both the verbal and non-verbal cues, what we are saying and how we are saying it, is very, very important. The fundamental thing about the human brain is that our brain is a survival mechanism. And we have a tendency with our brain to do this as a survival mechanism, is when we meet somebody, we try to see and diminish them rather than raise them and uplift them. That's a tendency. It's an unconscious thing. It's a programmed thing. It is how we are built to survive, to protect and defend ourselves. So the first thing our brain does unconsciously in the subconscious mind is to diminish somebody rather than anything else, and to suppress ourselves, and therefore the other people in our presence feel a bit suppressed. We are built for survival. We are built for positioning in a hierarchy. And that is what's predominant, even though we don't know and we don't say it, it is there, it's inbuilt in ourselves. So awareness is a very good thing, self-awareness. And Toastmasters does give us those tools of self-awareness. So our job really is in a Toastmasters club. What is it? It is not to diminish somebody, but to look at somebody and say, there's something in this person. I see something in you and who you can become. You know, there's a higher expression of yourself, and there is, right? As we learn to sort of stand up and speak in front of an audience, we learn more and more about becoming confident and speak with conviction. That's a higher expression of our creativity, right? And you have to see that when a person comes in, it doesn't matter how they are and how they're speaking and who they are, that this is where they can go to, because there's always that potential that is untapped, and that's why they are here in Toastmasters. And so are you, and so is everybody else, which means you are called to serve with great eminence. As Jared says, there is greatness within every one of us, but we have to share part of us with others. And when we share part of ourselves with others and inspire them, then you're making a connection. That is when things begin to come together in a Toastmasters club or in any organization. And this thing is missing quite a bit in most organizations, because our brains are wired that way. We have not been taught how to do this. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, our brain is a survival mechanism, purely and necessarily. It was based upon how to survive in the jungle. It was based to survive the dangers, the uncertainty, the risky situations. But it doesn't have to be in the modern world in a Toastmasters club. All right? So our survival instinct tends to say, you know, we tend to harp on weaknesses of a person more than we trump up strengths. And in evaluations, we learn not to focus on that, but to focus on strengths and to build up the weaknesses in a way that is very, very different than in any organization, or in any way that we've learned already in school, because we never learned this in school. And Toastmasters is a place, gentlemen, where evaluations and mastery evaluations is the greatest gift you can give yourself. To be a great leader, to have that greatness from within you, to serve, learn to be an awesome, great evaluator. Right? So you have to build strength and courage. Our job is not to prey on someone's weakest points, but to find the strong points. To find somebody's strong points and to build them into an overshadowing pillar of strength and courage, so that next time they come up here and stand up and start to speak, they speak with courage and strength and confidence, and you build them up. And you can only do that when you're connected with people, when they feel that you care about them, when they feel confident around you, when they come in and they say, oh yes, you know, all these people are here and I know all of them, they're connected, I've spoken to them outside the meeting and I know who they are, and they will make sure that I succeed here. So let's look at the unconscious mind and how it works. Most communication is tempered by that internalized unconscious talk that goes on in our minds, right? And it is just a conditioning from the environment, and it's a conditioning of a survival mechanism of our brain at the same time. And most of it is, we have some prejudices that we don't even know, unconscious ones, right? Our brain starts to judge and criticize things and compare things, right? All the things that are happening in the unconscious mind all the time. You know, that voice that keeps going, right, in the head, you know, and it prevents you from connecting. You know, all those negative thoughts that go on, and you have negative thoughts, and I have negative thoughts, and we have to admit that we have these things going on in our brain all the time. It's no use saying, no, I'm a great person. No, well, you are a great person, but these things go on, and that temper your communication. They affect how you're going to communicate with, because of that voice. You suppressed it and put it aside, but it's there, and that affects your communication, and that affects the way you're going to be connecting with people. And so you have to understand what that voice is, and then become friends with that voice, and then say, lay to rest, I know you are there, but be my friend, and go and do something different, and tell yourself, how can you inspire people in spite of that voice being there all the time, right? So you have to find out, what is your internal dialogue? What is that voice that keeps going over and over and over, that negative voice that's so hard to overcome, and come into a Toastmasters meeting and be positive and so on, and to inspire others, not by suppressing what's there, but by understanding what's there. That's important. Not by suppressing what's within, but by understanding what's within. There's a huge difference. And that is how communication turns into connection. The other thing is, you know, with all those prejudices and judgments and comparing things with others and yourself, what happens is that there's this dialogue of, okay, you know, unconsciously, of course, you enter a room, you're a brand new Toastmaster, and you enter a room and you look around, and it's unconscious. What happens unconsciously is that, who's going to reject me and who's going to like me? And the person who's going to smile at you and shake your hand, you will be drawn to that person. And the person who doesn't quite look at you, or is frowning a bit, or doesn't quite look friendly, you'll think this guy is going to reject. And so that is a very common thing in our brains that's going on unconsciously. Who is rejecting me? and who likes me, who's validating me. When you stand up to speak, the biggest fear is, this is our fear. How many of this audience here is rejecting me? And how many of this audience here likes me and will validate me? And this is roller coaster going on and on and on and on all the time. And when you are in Toastmasters, you are trying to overcome this thing. And so if you're not connected with people in your Toastmasters club, those who will support you and inspire you and say, I'm here for you no matter what happens, no matter how much you fail, I'll always be there for you, you know, then there's no connection. And when there's no connection, and when people still feel unconsciously all these things that are going on, you will not be able to build a strong club. So whenever there isn't a strong club, look at what's going on in your club. Are you really connecting with each other? Are you really going beyond criticism and criticizing each other unconsciously? Are you really here in between the meetings and connecting with each other in between the meetings? Because leadership doesn't happen during the meeting. Right now, while I'm talking, there's no leadership here. There's no leadership here. You know, you can say I'm a leader, I'm talking, so I must be a leader. But really, I'm really communicating. That's all I'm doing currently. And I'm hoping that I'm connecting with you. Leadership happens in between the meetings, which is in the gaps. And how? Because it's in between the meetings that I plan, I prepare, I communicate with my fellow Toastmasters. I know who Meltem is, I know who Nurbanu is, I know who Burke is, and I know who these people are, and I become friends with them. I've connected with them. I know these people. That's what creates a strong community. And so when I turn up here, you know, I know that I'm amongst friends. I'm among a group of people that I know well who will support me. And that is what's missing in Toastmasters, is that sort of connection, one-on-one connection. What did I just say? One-on-one connection. That is right. It happens in between the meetings. It doesn't happen during the meeting, because during the meeting, you have an agenda to follow. It may not be possible to connect one-on-one just for a few minutes. And even if you do and say hello to somebody, you are not going to be able to say hello to everybody, and you are not going to get to know everybody in a Toastmasters meeting. It is in between the meetings that you can connect with people, get to know them, and find out more about them, and support them and ask for support and help. That's where leadership is, right? So this rejection and validation roller coaster is really based on your internal dialogue. And you have to get away from it, like who likes me and who's going to reject me. If I feel that somebody's going to reject me, I will not talk to them. I will just say hello and just pretend to be friendly, but I'm not friendly with them. So ask yourself today, are you really connected with everyone in here? Are they really your friends? Are they really your supporters? And are you really a supporter of everyone in this club? That will tell you where your club is and how strong your club is. So, ladies and gentlemen, you must communicate to connect. And that is how you build strength and courage. It is to serve with great eminence. It is to honor somebody's potential. And Jared was very right. The greatness that lies within you is about sharing of yourself with others. And how do you share yourself with others? Not only by standing up here and doing a speech, but by connecting. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when you're connecting with people, what you're saying is, I see you. Now, what do you mean by I see you? It doesn't mean that, hey, you know, Meltem, you're a great person, or Meltem, you know, thank you for being here and so on. But Meltem, I see you. I see who you really are as a human being. I see your potential. I see how great you can be. That's what I mean by I see you. Right? Not just by, okay, you are on the screen, I've seen you. So I see you is something that is honoring somebody's spirit, somebody's potential, somebody's extraordinary greatness that there is, that they may not know, but you know that there is. And how can you do that? It's if only you know your own greatness. I see you. Okay. So that is the most important thing. in a Toastmasters Club is I see who you are and why you are here. And I know that when you first came here, you were afraid, your brain was thinking of unconsciously about who's rejecting you and who's liking you. I'm here, I see you, but I see your potential, and I know that you can be great. I can see that you can be a confident speaker. I can see that you can become a great leader in Toastmasters and therefore outside in the world. I see you. I know that. So you have to walk in each other's dreams, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody has got dreams and aspirations and desires. What is your dream, aspiration, desire to be in Toastmasters? Why did some guest today walk into this room? And what is their dream, their desire, and their aspiration? Do you know? Will you know before today and the next meeting what the dream, the desire is, why they were here today? Why did they come here today? And will you be willing to walk in that dream and that desire with them and hold their hand and take them through that journey? Everybody lives in a little box, right? That's our comfort zone. And in Toastmasters, we want to be outside somewhere, outside of this box. And what we are doing is we are teaching people how to throw the ball or hit the ball outside the box. It's called a moonshot, right? And so when you do all those all those things that I've said about connecting, you will be able to hit the ball outside the park, and so will the other people in your team. And your box becomes bigger, and your goals become larger, and your leadership becomes greater. You tap into your greatness, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we are here in Toastmasters. We are here in Toastmasters because you want to become a beacon of light to your protege, to other people. You have to light up their world. And this is how we communicate to connect with each other. Be genuine, have genuine interest in everyone that comes through those doors, care deeply about people that are here, care for and care about the people who are here today and those who will be here next week. And find out how everyone can be on the agenda and how they can speak, and that when they say, I'm going to speak, that they will actually speak, that there is commitment. So that's the environment you have to create. Listen carefully to them, and listen carefully to your own self, and see what your dreams and desires and aspirations and what theirs are, and what their commitment is, and what your commitment is, and what environment have you created here in this Toastmasters Club. And begin to understand that is only through connection with one-on-one in between the meetings that we can create a strong club, a strong community, and you'll be able to inspire people and they will inspire you. And it's really a teamwork, and everyone on this club is a one single team. If you're on a championship soccer team, football or soccer, right? Everyone is a high performing player. And if one player is not going to be there, and Turkey is playing with, say, England, for example, right, in soccer, and one player says, I'm not going to be there, or he says, I'll be there, but then he doesn't turn up, then something is missing in the club, or something hasn't really happened in terms of the context that you set in the club, right? So, and it all begins with, have I really connected with my team members? Do they feel that they're part of this team? Do they feel that Bosphorus Toastmasters Club is a high-performing team, and that we are supporting each other? And if you don't suddenly disappear, what will happen to the team? So, which means you have to learn the ability to uplift people. Right? You have to learn the ability to care and inspire and dare to care for people. And that is the way you connect with each other, ladies and gentlemen. That is the only way, is connect one-on-one. Begin with one-on-one, and then expand and get to know everyone. And then everyone should really get that you're all part of that high performing team, that you're all one team, that you're playing in world championship. Because one of you players here could end up one day on the stage at World Championship for Public Speaking. You could, if you were a very strong team. And that is my challenge to you. Are you a strong team? Will you connect between now and the next meeting in 2 weeks' time with each other and get to know more about each other? So that when you come back next week, you say, I'll support you. Can you support me? I care about you. Will you care about me? With that, back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you. Mr. Toastmaster, sorry.